Hello class, back again. Today's lesson we're going to look more in depth at the transformations that I had mentioned in our previous lesson. If you remember right, there were three transformations. There were rotations, reflections, and translations. And each one is a little bit different, so I'm going to give you a video for each type of problem. Before I show you some of these problems, I'm going to be showing you problems right off of the worksheet. So you may want to pause this video and download or print off the worksheet that's titled Transformations that will be attached to this lesson as well. All right, so if you have that downloaded and you can look on your worksheet, I'm going to jump to some of the problems that are in the very back of that packet. If you look at problem number 13, problem number 13 is a rotation problem. So these are going to be rotation problems I'm going to show you for this video. And on problem number 13, they want you to rotate the figure 180 degrees. They say it's a rotation of 180 degrees. And most of the time, they'll tell you what direction to go as well, whether it be clockwise or counterclockwise. In this case, they don't mention a direction because 180 degrees, if you think about it, is half of a turn. So it doesn't matter if I turn 180 degrees in the clockwise fashion or if I turn 180 degrees in the counterclockwise fashion. Either way, I'm going to end up in the same spot. So, half of a turn this way or half of a turn that way still gets me in the same spot. So they don't mention what direction, but normally they will if it's anything besides 180 degrees. So they just say, rotate 180 degrees, and all of our rotations are going to be around the origin. So it says about the origin. Technically, you can rotate around any point. It doesn't have to be the origin itself. You can rotate around any point out here. But most of the time, rotations are done around the origin. And so all the ones that I'm going to show you, we're all going to do around the origin. All right, so here's our figure from problem number 13. You can see originally they have a triangle here with vertices already labeled B, I, and R. And if I were to rotate this 180 degrees, and this is what I recommend you do, just literally take your piece of paper and rotate it 180 degrees. So 180 degrees then would land me upside down, okay, like this. Now if you look at this after I've rotated it 180 degrees, that's going to be what the answer is going to look like. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm simply going to steal the coordinates. I'm going to write those down while I have this revealing the answer right now. So the new point R, which by the way, we write it like this with a R and a little apostrophe by it, but it's read as R prime. If you remember right, I told you that all transformations were the basis of the movies Transformers. And what do you know? The main good guy in the characters in the Transformer movies is Optimus Prime. So that's read as prime. So R prime, our new R value, is located, as you can see here now, what would be the coordinates -5, +4. -5, +4. So I write that down. The new I, or I prime, is located here at -3, +5. And the new B, or B prime, is located here at -3, +2. Okay, so after I've copied down those coordinates, all I'm going to do now is take my piece of paper, put it back in the normal upright position, and then I can now plot these points that I just copied down here, and those will be the coordinates of our new image, is what this is called. After you've transformed a figure, the new figure is called its image. And it'll have, again, these coordinates of all these prime points, R prime, I prime, and B prime. So I plot those up here, -5, +4. That's my R prime. I prime was at -3, +5. There's I prime. And B prime was at -3, +2. So there's my B prime. Don't forget to reconnect these to make the triangle. So after rotating the original triangle 180 degrees, you can see our answer then ends up here in this first quadrant. Started out down here in the fourth quadrant, but after rotating it, I'm sorry, that would be the second quadrant. It finishes here at the second quadrant. So that's a 180 degree rotation. Okay, I want to show you one more rotation just to make sure you understand how these work. Okay, so I'm going to look at problem number 14 now. Which I have a copy of up here as well. Here's our original triangle, STJ. And we are going to, again, do a rotation. But this time, they tell you that the rotation on this one is only going to be 90 degrees, and it's counterclockwise. So this is a rotation of 90 degrees, counterclockwise. Again, though, around the origin. So about the origin. All right, so first of all, you need to understand the directions on a clock to understand clockwise and counterclockwise. And we're talking about an analog clock, not a digital clock. Okay, so the one that has the arms on it, the hands on it. Okay, and the normal direction the hands move is what we call a clockwise motion. So when the hands move down and to the right, that's clockwise. Okay, I want to go counterclockwise, so I'm going to be going against the normal hands of a clock. So I'm going to be going in this upward to the left motion, up and to the left like that. So if I move it 90 degrees, 90 degrees, I hope you understand, is a quarter of a turn. There are 360 degrees in a full circle. So 90 degrees of it would be a quarter of a turn. So I'm going to go in a counterclockwise fashion. So I'm going to be turning it 90 degrees like this. Okay, there's my end result. That's what the final answer is going to look like right there. That's going to be my image after I rotate it. Okay, so I need to jot down my coordinates that I see here. So I've got my new S, or S prime, is going to be located here at 0, 2. My new T is here at +4, -1. And the J prime, the new J, is going to be located here at 5, 4. Okay, so after I've got my coordinates jotted down of where they should now be located, we need to take our paper, rotate it back to its original upright position, and start to plot these points. So 0, 2 is my S prime. So that's located right there. That's my S prime. T prime is at 4, -1. 4, -1. T prime. J prime, 5, 4. 5, 4. There's my J prime. And again, don't forget to just reconnect all these to make the triangle shape. That was the whole point of doing these rotations, so don't forget to join them. So there's our answer after rotating this 90 degrees counterclockwise, so a quarter of a turn. See it? Right there is the answer in green, and we got it by doing that, peeking off of that after rotating it, and then just plotted it back up there. Okay, so that's how you do rotations, And I'm going to stop my video here and make a new video for our next type of transformation, which is going to be, I'm going to do a translation next.